Okay, lesson 88, women's rights movement that have tremendous courage and change in our country. And I want you to imagine a country where more than 50% of the people cannot vote, have a hard time owning property, have a hard time traveling, have a hard time making their own money, have a hard time having any political say. That doesn't sound like the country we live in, but that was the country we lived in the 1840s and 50s. And it took a few courageous women to change that and give us the um, more of the type of country we have today and start that process. It started out in the writings. Writers like Margaret Fuller, Sarah and Angela Grimke started writing about the importance of women getting more equality and more rights. Speakers like Sojourner Truth stepped up. Sojourner Truth was a former slave, and she spoke to the masses and traveled, convincing others that women deserve rights and can do just as much as men can do. The women were told to be quiet. They were told to know their place. They were told to go home and serve their husbands. Things were thrown at them, but they kept going. They were determined. What did they want? In the beginning, they wanted equal pay, which women are still striving for today. They wanted equal educational opportunity. They want the chance to learn. They were not just thinking about themselves. They wanted abolition. They wanted the slaves to be free. In the beginning, voting was not even a thing they were demanding. But over time, they realized they needed political power as well and voting rights. And so the women's rights movement will continue to progress. And so their demands will continue to change throughout time and get better and progress. There was much opposition. Many men did not want women to have power. Some women did not want women to have more power. In the South, it was a non-issue. Men ran the South, and it was expected to stay that way. It really was more an issue only in the Northeast, with women's rights building momentum. As women get more and more involved in other movements and prove their capabilities and leadership, there will be more momentum for women's rights as well. Men tried to argue women were not as mentally strong as them, but that, of course, had no basis. It was not true. The greatest leap forward in the women's rights movement came with the Seneca Falls Convention. It was a revolutionary idea, the idea that women should meet in one place at one time from all over the country to argue for, discuss, parade about, protest, draw attention to women's rights. Doesn't seem like a big deal today. It was a huge deal back then, though, because women were not supposed to travel. Women did not have their own money to travel. Women were not supposed to gather together like that. And these women revolutionized the world by meeting in one place, taking a stand, and having a unique idea to have their own convention. At the convention in 1848, the Declaration of Sentiments was written, and it detailed all the injustices against women and why they must be fixed. Leaders of the movement, Lucy Stone was a great speaker. Susan B. Anthony is the one that really pushed the movement over the edge. She devoted her entire life to pushing for women getting the right to vote. She did not see her goal accomplished. She died before it was accomplished, but eventually in 1920, the 19th Amendment was passed and women gained the right to vote. Elizabeth Cady Stanton was another great leader. What can we learn from this? Women had tremendous courage to step up into a world where they were not valued and demand their value, demand their rights. Sometimes it takes unique courage to make changes and reforms that are better for society. These women pushing for change and reform got the other half of our society the rights that they deserved and the ability to push our country forward. And it was an incredible success for our country. You may ask yourself, do you have that courage to consistently do the right thing, even when it's not popular, like these women? They were not popular at first. Things were thrown at them. They were yelled at. They were discriminated against. But these women pushed forward no matter what. Do you have that power inside of you to do what's right when other people are doing what is wrong?